First, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to start with some words. You're a rock star. Great job. Thank you for your help. Hell yeah, fucking crushed it. I'm not the creative one. God, this guy is so fucking stupid. You're a fucking shitty person. It's okay. No one really cares how I feel, anyways. I'm going to be the one that's going to be alone. I'm not good at that. Oh well. Maybe I am better than you. Look at you. These are words I've said to myself and to others. I didn't realize words I use actually mattered, besides swearing about something or making a promise. I just thought they were just words. I use them to communicate. I tried hard to pronounce them correctly, the perfect way. Really, didn't want to get shamed for sounding stupid. I also use them as tools to intimidate, belittle, uplift, manipulate, influence, and praise, never thinking about where they originated. Even the words I would say to myself, like, I'm not that smart. I didn't think it had an impact on me. If I don't really believe it, what's the damage? Then a friend handed me a book, The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. And it changed my perspective on what words are and how they impact me daily. Words don't just express what I think, they shape what we believe. Not just the words we say to each other, but the words we say to ourselves when no one's listening. In the next 4 videos, I'm going to share my experience with this book, starting with the first agreement: be impeccable with your word. Ruiz summarizes the first agreement with this: speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using words to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Speak with integrity. In the next 3 videos, I'll share the remaining 3 agreements. Don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. In this video, I'm going to share 3 things I'm still practicing related to being impeccable with your word. What impeccable actually means to me, 3 questions I anchor in, and then the 2 areas where I'm still improving. The Four Agreements is a book I highly recommend to anyone. I actually gifted this book to multiple people in my life already. Although these 4 agreements may seem simple or something you feel you may already know, but if you can stay with it, the perspective is worth it, because this isn't about being perfect. As a quick heads up though, the beginning of the book can feel a little bit different. It talks about domestication and dreams, and I get why that may sound weird at first. But the way I translate this into real life is simple. Domestication just means conditioning, how we learn what gets us praise, what gets us in trouble, and what's acceptable and what's not. And dream is basically the story we're living inside. The beliefs we picked up about who we are, what we deserve, and how the world works. So when he says in the book, break the dream, I don't hear leave reality. I hear stop living in beliefs I didn't consciously choose. That translation helped me keep it simple, and honestly, I related to it way more. Domestication is conditioning. Dream is a story I'm living inside. And break the dream just means stop living by beliefs I didn't choose. What impeccable started to mean to me? Well, there's a line early in the chapter that hit me. In the book, he calls the word the most powerful tool you have. And I remember thinking, yeah, I guess. But then I started noticing what I said didn't sound like what I believed. When I first heard be impeccable with your word, I thought it meant like don't lie, don't be rude. But it was much more when I sat with it. I realized my words weren't just describing my life, they were building it. I could see this true in other books that I read as well. My words aren't just communication, they're creation. They shape what I believe, what I tolerate, and and how I treat myself. I believe it's training of my subconscious, aka my autopilot, that can take the wheel sometimes. Being impeccable with your word doesn't mean being perfect or never mess up or never say the wrong thing. For me, it just means be intentional. Another thing I learned about being impeccable with my word is it doesn't mean being nice. It doesn't mean being fake. It doesn't mean avoiding boundaries or swallowing my truth until I resent people. For me, impeccable means honesty without being cruel, direct without being disrespectful, clear without being cutting. Trust me, I've had moments where I've technically been right and still caused damage. And I've also had some moments where I was nice on the surface but messy underneath. The best love I can show is be clear and intentional from a place of truth and love, not harm. Again, my words aren't just communication. They create my reality. They shape what I believe. Being impeccable with my words means being intentional with my words. Now, here's the thing. The real problem, I underestimate small words. Here's what I'm learning in real time. I don't usually get taken out by huge moment, one big huge moment. It's the small sentences and thoughts, the casual ones, the ones I repeat without thinking. Stuff like, I'm never good at remembering names. Shout out to How to Win Friends and Influence People. Great book. I always do this. I always mess up. I'm so lazy. These sentences aren't harmless, even though I say them lightly. My body, my subconscious, that autopilot doesn't always take them lightly. They seep in, even if I don't intend them to. They shape my confidence. They set my expectations. They shape what I reach for and also what I don't. And I'm not saying I stopped doing this. I still catch myself a lot, but I'm getting better at noticing sooner. I'm getting better at pausing before I let a messy sentence become my identity. My first step was just asking myself, why do I say these things? What could I say that's more intentional, more honest, more of who I want to be? That leads into these three questions that I always try to ask nowadays. When I feel myself getting mad, frustrated, defensive, or even sad or depressed, which is normal and will keep happening, I've been practicing a pause. And when I practice this pause, I anchor in these three questions. I start with, what do I want? What is it that I really, really want? Right? And define what that is for myself because I can anchor in that answer. How do I want people to experience me? Again, what does that look like? What is a true answer for me, the honest answer? And how do I want to show up in the world? Again, something that I really focus in on and sometimes can evolve. And those questions don't magically make me calm, but they interrupt the moment where I'm about to let my words create reality that I don't want. Because if I'm honest, when I'm activated, I can get sharp. It can be a quick jab, or I can go for the jugular sometimes. And I don't want that to be who I am. And I'm not saying I do that every single time. I still fail at times, and that's okay. But I'm getting better. And that's the work for me, not never getting mad, but catching myself, caring for myself, and responding in a healthier way. I'm not trying to never be mad. I'm trying to catch myself sooner and be intentional, more impeccable with my words. So that's agreement one. Be impeccable with your words, at least for me. Now, this is about speaking in a way that builds trust with others and with myself. And if you take nothing else from this, it's this. My words have more power than I think, so I want to use them with more care. Next up is agreement number two. Don't take anything personally. Yeah, this one definitely will give you a different perspective that most people believe what that statement actually means. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.